It's quite a night if you're just joining us. We just got a call from the folks at the Museum of Broadcasting,
Yes?
and they said, stop that. Our first guest tonight stars in the Broadway revival of a play entitled 3 Days of Rain. It opens April 19th at the Bernard B. Jacobs Theater. You have the address. Please say hello to Paul Rudd, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
This is interesting to me because I know a little bit about Overland Park, Kansas. You're from Overland Park, Kansas.
I grew up there, yeah.
What is life like there? Pretty good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Everybody's nice, and a lot of people in Kansas City Chiefs clothes.
Sure.
A lot of Zuba pants.
I'm sorry, a lot of what pants?
Zuba pants are those kind of pants. They have tiger stripes on them,
Oh, yeah,
and then,
yeah.
then they kind of they're wide in the middle,
Yeah,
and then they go in.
And again, forgive my ignorance, but Zuba pants?
Zuba pants.
Right, but...
I don't know what Zuba...
Oh, I thought maybe you did know what Zuba meant.
No, I think maybe there's Zuma. I don't know. I don't know if it's Zuba or Zuma, but they're really not flattering.
Yeah,
you know,
that's all right. Where did you live there in Overland Park? What?
I lived in a town called Lenexa, Lenexa, Kansas. From Lenexa, and it was a nice place to live. Sounds a little bit, I think, like some kind of new medicine or something.
To help you sleep?
Yeah, something to help you sleep, or an antidepressant, or. But yeah, I moved there when I was about 10.
10, yeah. And fond memories of there?
Yeah, very much so. My parents are still they're in Leawood now, but I will
Part
go
of the
back.
Metroplex there?
Yeah.
Overland Park, Lenexa,
Yeah, the
Leawood.
sprawling, not too far from Olathe. And so I'll go back and kind of visit, friends and places that I worked. I worked at a place called Holiday Ham Company.
Holiday Ham Company?
Where I glazed hams.
Wow.
And go in and check out the hams.
Now, when you say, is this a job you had there during school, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I was kind of saving up, trying to, get some money to move out to California to go to an acting school, and so I would glaze hams, and it was.
Paul, take us through the process.
It's an exciting process, and one of many steps. I would take the ham, I would slice it, cut off the fat. And then put on these plastic wrist guards and put the ham on a spit, and then there was a torch that came down from the ceiling, like a propane torch.
Sure.
And I would use a sugar sifter, and sprinkle sugar on, and then kind of, and then, and just, it was like a rhythm to it. And,
wow.
It was... Thank you.
And then that's how we glaze hams.
That's how it's done. Yeah.
Is it more difficult than it sounds pretty simple there?
To look at somebody glazing hams, it looks as if they're working with plutonium. there's really, it's like a baseball catcher or something with all the guards and things, but it's really a pretty. I mean, I was working with like 15-year-old kids. We were all just glazing. I had a friend that called me Paul Ham Glazer. That was my nickname, as opposed to Paul Michael Glazer, I guess.
I think years and years ago, before the wall came down, the Russians were experimenting with glazing one with plutonium.
Were they?
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah, I think I might have read that.
Yeah, I think you probably did. Now, tell us, this is a pretty good gig, the Broadway play, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really exciting.
Yeah, but you've had a lot of other experience, films and television and stuff. Anything of interest from your early career that we would want to discuss here?
Well, sure. I did this film that I'm really proud of called Gen Y Cops.
Gen Y Cops.
Yeah. Which, as you are probably aware, as most of you are, it was the sequel to Gen X Cops.
Oh.
And I'm an all-Asian martial arts film. How I got this job, I have no idea, because I couldn't be more miscast.
Yeah.
But I was in Gen Y Cops, which was really similar to Gen X Cops, because there was a killer robot.
Killer robot.
Yeah. And that, I think, prepared me for the stage. I don't know where I'm going with this.
And was the film successful? I mean, other than...
I have no idea.
No.
I really don't know. In fact, I've actually never even seen it.
Now, it was probably not a big budget production.
I think in Hong Kong terms it was, because it's shot in Hong Kong. I was the only American
you got to go to Hong Kong,
in it.
though.
Yeah, I was, and they bleached my hair blonde. I played an FBI agent. My wife said, actually, if Duran Duran made a video about the FBI, I looked like Simon Le Bon. Because it couldn't have been less FBI agent, but...
You know, I think before the wall came down, Duran Duran was working on a video about the FBI.
Yeah. So, well, they were always going to, exotic places.
Yeah. Well, guess what, Paul? Tonight is your lucky night. We have a clip of that Gen Y Cops.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know what we're going to see? Have any idea?
Well, I think so. They did. There is a scene where I jump out of a car. The one thing is that there are union rules. People say, I did my own stunts. And I actually did try and do my own stunts, but it's incredibly dangerous in a film like this. There's no way they would let you do that in this country. So I think this is just... I had my legs coated with flame-retardant gel, and I jumped out of a car that blew up. So I think that's what...
Okay, let's take a look.
Doesn't look bad at all.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah. Although I must say, actually, that's the first time I've seen that clip. I think I look more like Nick Rhodes than Simon Le Bon.
Well, whatever you like.
Thanks, man.
Now, let's talk about the Broadway play experience. Have you been on Broadway before?
I have, yeah. But this is a kind of a new experience. It's with Julia Roberts. This is the play that Julia Roberts is doing.
This is her Broadway debut.
Yeah. And I love this play so much, and it's written by a great writer, a guy named Richard Greenberg. But it's pretty wild to do a play with somebody as famous as Julia Roberts.
I would think so. Distracting or helpful?
No, neither. It's like helpful and nice, and she's really friendly and cool. But it's strange to walk out onto 45th Street, and I know you've. Do you have the address? And see like 1,000 people on the street.
Yeah, I would think so.
But it's a little nerve-wracking. It is a little nerve-wracking, actually. Here's a story.
I feel like I just stepped out for a minute. I'm back. Here I am and ready to go.
I know how you feel.
But let me ask you this, Paul. It rains in the theater on the stage.
Yeah,
right?
there's actually, and it took some tweaking to kind of see how much it rains. The first few shows, it was like a Gallagher show. The first 3 rows had a tarp. There was so much splash. And
I understand FEMA actually showed up.
They did. Yeah. FEMA was there. I went up on a line on the very first...
That's the worst fear of an actor, isn't it?
It really is. And it was the first time, the first preview, and you're panicked you're going to forget a line. And I have a line in the play, and the line is, "To be or not to be, that is the question." I swear to God, I forgot it. I'm the only person, I think, in the history of theater to forget that.
It kind of is the essence of theater, and you forgot the whole line?
No, I remembered the first bit. I got to be or not to be out, and then, I'll just moved on to the next thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of ugly.
That was pretty sad.
But you're excited, and the run will continue through June. Is that what we think?
Yeah, it goes till about June 18th, I think.
It opens April 19th, and I understand that there are still a few tickets, but mostly the run is entirely sold out.
I think, pretty close to being sold out.
Yeah. And, here's an idea for a gift for Julia. Ham.
I glazed it myself.
Thank you very much, Paul. Nice meeting you. Good luck. Paul Rudd, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with Gretchen Mall. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is a talented and charming actor who can be seen this summer in the sure-to-be blockbuster film Ant-Man. It's Ant-Man.
Ant-Man?
Ant-Man, that's right. It opens July 17th. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the always entertaining Paul Rudd. Paul, come on out here.
My goodness.
Pleasure to have you here.
Great to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
There he is. Mr. Leading Man.
Oh, nice.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay.
Whoa! All right, that's enough. That's enough. That's really it's too nice, but not unearned.
No, they're doing it because they love you and they're happy to see you.
Well, it's...
Oh, no, stop it. I don't know what that was.
No, I don't either.
Now, listen, first of all, semi-congratulations. Kansas City Royals, it seems like they made it to the World Series,
How
right?
about that? Yeah,
well,
they
that's
did.
all you want is a shot at the big money.
And it was the first shot in 30 years. Actually, first time they'd made the postseason in 30 years. So it was very, very exciting.
Wow. And the manager, did it used to be Hal McRae in those days or Whitey Herzog?
Back in those days, it was a guy named Dick Hauser.
Dick Hauser.
And then there was a guy named Jim Fry in 1980.
So I wasn't close with either, was I?
No, but yeah, it was Dick Hauser when they won in '85, and
so this was a big thing, not just for you, but for everybody.
Huge. Just
there
huge.
in
You know,
Kansas.
in Kansas City, the Royals and the Chiefs are just beloved. We have those two teams in barbecue.
Oh,
and so this is what we hang our hat on this.
Yeah, and is the barbecue really that good?
It's the best in the world.
Yeah. So this, just to be certain of this, you live in Kansas.
Well, I grew up
in
Kansas.
The Royals are in Missouri.
Well, their stadium is right
Am I
by.
right about this?
You are, but people think Kansas City. They think it's two cities. It's really one city. Kind of some is on the Kansas side, and some on the Missouri side. And I lived on the Kansas side, but about a few minutes from the state line.
So you can, it's all right for you to root for the Royals.
I feel like it is. They're in the paper. So.
And then you actually went to you got up filming Ant-Man. You're in a major like $100 million movie production, and you said, "I won't be in today. I'm going to see the Royals."
There was some fluky thing where during the schedule I had a couple of weeks off, about 2 weeks off, and it just happened to fall in line with the ALCS and the World Series. So I thought it was destined that they were going to win.
Yeah.
But I was there for the final game of the ALCS, and I went crazy. I was watching the game. They won. I was sitting
Who did they beat?
The Orioles.
Beat the Orioles. All right.
And so I was sitting with somebody that worked with Major League Baseball. They said, "You want to go down to the field?" And I said, "Oh yeah, it'll be so exciting." So I went down and wasn't thinking that there would be cameras down there. And I was interviewed.
You were thinking,
well, I guess there were cameras.
You didn't know it was televised.
I was going crazy. I didn't realize. I thought this was still just on the radio.
I wonder if anybody else knows about this.
So I was interviewed, and they were asking me about what I was going to do to celebrate.
Yeah.
Just in the excitement, I said kegger at my mom's house.
Kegger at my mom's house.
Yeah, that was how I was going to celebrate.
Yeah. And
anyway, I went out, and people showed up.
At your mom's house.
I was completely kidding, but some people did show up.
I think we have the videotape of your invitation. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we do.
Let's take a look at this now. And
where are you going to be partying tonight, huh? You don't have to tell specifically.
I'm going to be partying at my mom's house.
All right, is everybody invited or just select group?
Hey, party my mom's, Dan. She's out of town. I got a keg. It's gonna be sweet.
That's
All
right.
right, party at Paul Rudd's mom's house tonight, Loyals fans. Send it back to you.
$5 cover.
Oh, my God. Wow. Now, see.
Yeah.
There's not a jury in the world that wouldn't uphold that. That was a bona fide invitation to Mom.
Well, my mom doesn't live in that house anymore. my sister and brother-in-law do. When my brother-in-law was putting his my nephew, his son Henry, to sleep, and the doorbell rang, and 3 guys showed up looking for me with bottles of wine, looking for a party. He said, "No, get lost.
Right.
It was a joke." But if they do win the World Series this year, seriously, 2 kegs at my mom's house. It's happening.
Yeah, you're not kidding this time.
Nope. This time it's on.
We'll be right back with Paul Rudd, everybody. Paul Rudd, ladies and gentlemen, with us on the program now. Ant-Man. You're done with Ant-Man. It's in theaters July 17th. What can you tell us? First of all, is your family excited about you as Ant-Man?
When I told my son I was going to be playing a superhero, he asked, "Who?" And I said, "Ant-Man." And he said, "What? Ant-Man?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, I can't wait to see how stupid that'll be."
It's nice to have support from your family, your loved ones. But Ant-Man, his superpower is he reduces himself to the size of an ant. Is that what it is?
He could shrink. He wears a suit and he shrinks down to the size of an ant. And he can also control the ants, communicate with the ants. So I guess we all can't wait to see how stupid this will be.
I mean, I don't know anything about Ant-Man, but isn't really just a matter of this? Or am I?
You'd think.
Well,
you would think.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
He's got a few. Oh yeah. Then you got no movie.
Now we do have a clip here of Ant-Man. It'll be in theaters in July 17th. What are we going to see, Paul?
There was an original Ant-Man, a guy named Hank Pym, who's played by Michael Douglas in the film, and he created the suit. And I think that this is me stealing it.
Now, the original Ant-Man bitten by a radioactive ant?
No, just a great scientist. Really, really good with potions.
Sure. I think we're just beginning to scratch the surface with science. We don't know the limits yet.
No,
All right.
he's cracked him.
This will be Ant-Man. Let's watch. You put on the suit. Ant-Man.
I have a question for you.
Yes, go right ahead. I'll take a question.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I was able to get on the show before it ends. Thank you.
And I appreciate that.
And
It's
I know
been great for us.
Well, it's I know that.
Yes.
I know.
Tremendous. Yes.
Nice of you to say it, and I know how much you hate compliments. So it must be hard now because everyone wants to just tell you what you mean to them.
Not everybody.
Well, I do.
Thank you.
And I want to say that the very first, I say about 30 years ago, when you first started the show, back when the Royals were in the World Series, I joined the David Letterman fan club.
Oh, now, I remember the David Letterman fan club, and we had to issue a cease and desist order.
I figured you had nothing to do
because it did not have anything to do with us.
Well, that's probably good because it was a terrible fan club. What it included was a pin, a collapsible drinking cup, a sponge that if you put in water would grow.
It would expand.
I'm assuming it said put in water, see what happens. A back scratcher and a balloon.
Whoa! And you're saying it was a lousy fan club?
The worst. No newsletter, no photos. And anyway,
well, we did. We had to shut it down.
I appreciated the random nature of it. I figured you had nothing to do with it. However, now that we're just a few weeks out, I have never told you this.
Well, that's very nice of you.
I have kept my member of my David Letterman fan club pin.
This is heartbreaking.
But more importantly, I still have my David Letterman sponge that I have never put in water.
Let me see what that says on there. I'm a member of the David Letterman fan club. See what happens.
Now, I think the full circle nature of it all means I finally now, 3/4 of my life later, we should see what happens.
Yeah, because if you had done this earlier, maybe you would have a more positive view of the fan club. Oh, my God. Well, Paul, congratulations.
Oh.
This is delightful, and I'm so happy to be here to share this moment with... That's remarkable. And you thought the whole thing was a ripoff.
I never thought I'd clean your desk with it. I know that.
It's a magic moment. Good to see you. My best to you and your family. The great Paul Rudd, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with Chaka Khan.